of you to take a minute or two to offer what you think the most important things attendees should take away from today's webinar. And Gary, we'll start with you.
Well, I would say from the perspective of enforcement, there are probably 2 or 3 key points. Number one, the servicing community has heard the pleas of borrowers for a more rational experience in a number of areas where certainly rationalizing, whatever term you want to use for it, making the experience more borrower-friendly is appropriate, particularly in areas that are routine. The enforcement side still remains the enforcement side because there is a responsibility to the special servicer to maximize the return on an asset for the benefit of the pool as a whole. And there's often a tension between borrowers who think that they're the only ones who know how to maximize the value of the asset, and special servicers who say, well, if that's the case, why is the loan not being repaid? But I think that there's been a large learning process by both borrowers and servicers over the last 10 to 15 years as we've gone through this wave, and everybody is taking some of the legal issues that they've learned from to heart and using those to inform their strategies for working out going forward.
And Joshua.
I think the key takeaways from the CMBS side and the portion of the presentation I did are that looks like risk retention and the wall of maturities are kind of filtering their way through the market in a trending positive manner. The real interesting points about CMBS at this juncture are more of market and legislative concerns, just as they kind of, for lack of a better term, almost always are. Uncertainty is never good for the CMBS market, and right now it's speculative uncertainty, which is kind of nice versus the known uncertainties that we've had during the Great Recession. So I think the key takeaway there is just kind of pay attention to the news that's out there and to updates like this to try to make sure that you, when something new does occur, you're out in front of it, because as we learned from the risk retention in particular, getting out in front of these waves really does help.